All right, welcome back. Let's get you ready for game week 5. Let's start by taking a quick look at the schedule over the next 4 days here. Looks like we have Indiana with 3 very good matchups. They're one of a few teams that actually play 3 games in the next 4, all against teams in the bottom 10 defensively. I would say if you have Halliburton, if you have Miles Turner, even a guy like Buddy Hield or Andrew Nemhard, guys you can target this week to hopefully get you at least one big game. There are a few teams with one game this week. It looks like it's the Grizzlies, the Blazers, the Suns, and the Raptors all just have one game, so be careful with those teams. Let's get into the values, though. So starting at the top here, again, like I said before, the light pink is for guys who are injured currently, but I'm thinking of stashing away. Red is I'm avoiding, just not getting enough court time, or one thing or another. Yellow, I'm cautiously optimistic on, so we'll run through them quick here. Derrick Rose is going to be out, but he's down to $2. When he was playing, he was putting up points. I think he comes back before Ja Morant's suspension is up, and if he does, he's going to be a good play. So if you can afford to stash him away right now, he may come in handy for you down the road. I'm just going to skip over the red guys, just not getting enough time. Ryan Rollins with Washington. Obviously, Washington's terrible. Ryan Rollins is a deep bench player, only averaging 8 points per appearance. He's only been in 4 games, but he's been productive. So they're going to get blown out a lot. He's a guy that's going to get some minutes. And with an L10 of 5, he's still pretty valuable for you. He's $4. Dwight Powell, my first green of the day. He's been back now 5 games. He's a role player. Kleba's been out at least the last game, and he may be out again. Powell's minutes are averaging 13.5, but probably on the rise. I'd say he gets 15 to 20. He's getting you about 14 points, so nothing huge, but his L10's only 8, so he's got some value to him. Orlando Robinson from Miami, another guy that you might want to stash just in case Bam doesn't go sometime. Right now, he's only played in 2 of their games, but when he plays, he averages some decent minutes and some decent points. Just a guy to watch. If his value drops to like $1.50 or $1, maybe you want to pick him up and stash him. Jay Crowder's come through with a decent role in Milwaukee. Played in every game. He's getting 25 minutes, 21 points, L10 of 12. He's going to keep playing. Bucks do have the Pacers this week, so pretty good matchup. If you need a 12 to stick in your lineup to make it work, he's a cheap option for you. Sebron for New Orleans is kind of interesting. So C.J. McCollum was just diagnosed with a collapsed lung. Kira Lewis and Sebron are the 2 guards. Sebron just made his debut and played 13 minutes. He actually looks, to me, he looks decent. He looks fast. I think he's a better player than Kira Lewis. I think he may be the one that gets a little more run. So this is a long shot for sure, but he is dirt cheap at $1.71. If you want to take a chance on him, his L10 is only 1, so you can work him into any lineup. Furkan Korkmaz is carving out a little bit of a role. He's actually played the last 3 games after not playing the first 3. 14 minutes a night on average. I would say since the trade, he's been okay. Another guy with not a very high ceiling, but that you can work into lineups with that L10 of 8. He's $2.44 right now. Haywood Highsmith did not come through over the weekend. He did play 22 minutes again, but he scored 8 points, shot 3 of 4, 2 of 3 from 3, so efficient, but not very many shots, and he didn't put up any other numbers, so no rebounds, no assists, no steals, no blocks. That's probably an outlier. I think he's going to be decent for you. L10 still 9. He's still $4. I would give him another shot. Kevin Love was apparently available last game, but didn't play. This is kind of a weird situation. Obviously, he's been a good player in the league for a long time, but he's getting older. He's hurt a lot. When he plays, he's decent. L10's kind of high, so we'll have to see what happens with him, but he's just cheap. He's $3, so if you want to take a flyer on him and stash him away. Lonnie Walker picked up a little bit of an injury last game. He's been good with Cam Johnson out. I'm kind of hesitant on him. I just don't love his game. He's still pretty far over. His average is pretty far over his L10, so maybe worth a look. $6. I'm hesitant on that. I wouldn't go for that. Phoenix is so banged up. Eric Gordon has been playing a ton of minutes. He's obviously out producing his L10. Phoenix only the one game this week, though. You may want to hesitate on him. I don't know. Booker and Beal could be back by the end of by game week 6. So, but he's been solid. Sam Hauser, we talked about him on Friday a little bit. He's averaging 17.4. This guy's a wing. He's a shooter and a good outside shooter. So a good floor spacer for guys like Tatum and Brown. He's going to continue to get run, in my opinion. He's putting up, 15 Sorare points a night, and his L10's a 9. He's $5. So if you need a 9 to work your lineups, he's not a bad option. Dorian Finney-Smith getting a lot of minutes right now. Claxton has a high ankle sprain, 6 to 8 week injury. DFS plays a little at the center. They go really small with either Simmons or DFS at the center, and he's putting up points. He's getting you 27.5 a night on Sorare, so well above the L10. Still only $6.48. I mean, he's a starter, so you may want to give him a look. Shake Milton hasn't had a good game all year for the Wolves. New team, new role. He's playing more now than he did last year with Philly. And although his number is only 11.3, this is a guy that can get hot and can put you, in that 25 to 30 range on a given night. So with a 6 L10 and a $5 price point, I would say he's worth a look. Conchar, I was all over thinking okay, this guy is actually going to get minutes. He's going to play, and now he's got some sort of hip injury. His L10's going up a little bit, so he's not the play that he was last week. I'm still stashing him away for a rainy day, thinking he may come in handy at some point this year. Jeff Green had a nothing game over the weekend, only played 5 minutes, grabbed 5 rebounds, and then sat out the rest of the game. They just destroyed Sacramento, which was surprising because Houston's terrible. But with Amen Thompson out now for a bit, I think Green's minutes are safe going forward. I think he's going to do better than 10 on a given night. He'll get to 20 sometimes. 8 for an L10, only $2.47. He's worth a look. Duncan Robinson just coming off his best game of the year. Pretty high L10 for him, and he's not gonna score you 30 that often, but he can do it. And $4, worth a look. Torrey Craig got a start last game. They're banged up at guard. DeSumu's out. Caruso got hurt during the game. He's questionable tonight. So I think Craig's minutes are pretty safe. He's getting over 20. His L10 is only a 10. He's a little higher at 744. Osman's carved out a role in San Antonio, another boring player with a little higher L10, so you're not getting a ton of value here, but he's really cheap. JaVale McGee, another guy that's going to get you somewhere between 10 and 20 minutes. He can score pretty decent fantasy points in short minutes sometimes. And he's really cheap, under $2. I would give him a look. He's a good guy to fit into lineups. Otto Porter, I'm cautiously optimistic on. He's got more minutes the last 2 days. He didn't play the first 3 games. He played one day. He rested the second day, and then he played again last game. So when he does play, he's getting 17.5, putting up 16 points. L10's a little high. I would have liked to see that in the single digits. I would have given him some real value, but at $2.30, you might want to take a look at him. You can always stash him away if he keeps getting minutes. George Niang. Cleveland's getting healthy, but I think Niang's got a pretty safe role here. His minutes may go down a little bit, but he still hasn't had a very good game for them. I think he's capable of scoring you in that 20 to 30 range on occasion when he gets hot from outside. L10 still only 10, $5, maybe worth a look. Alec Burks was looking really good, and then he has some sort of forearm injury. He's missed the last 3 games. When he plays, he's playing decent minutes. He's scoring decent points. As a filler for $4, Might be worth a stash. Biyombo for Memphis. So he started last night when the Xavier Tillman injury news came down. Had a big game, scored over 30. He was really cheap. He went up from $2 up to 10 and now back down to 6. So L10 of 11, worth a look for sure, especially if he's getting starter minutes. Dylan Brooks in Houston, playing a ton of minutes, starting. His role is definitely different this year than it was last year in Memphis. They're kind of relying on him to be a primary scorer, which is probably not a good idea because he's a terrible shooter. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes for him. Right now, 29. His L10 still just a 20. A little more expensive at $12, but a guy that is producing and is definitely beating his L10 can give you some value. Koji, I'm not real high on. Again, one game this week for Phoenix. Don't love his offensive game. He is earning minutes, though, with his effort and his defense. He's still beating his averages. As Phoenix gets healthier, I think he sees less and less opportunity. Sadiq Bey, I would say he's a decent play, $7. He's averaging 28 minutes a night, putting up some numbers for Atlanta. Atlanta's played a little better than I anticipated, and he's a part of that. Gordon Hayward, handling extra minutes with Rozier out, handling some point guard minutes, backing up LaMelo, and he's been great this year. So 35, he's a 30 L10, so that'll even out eventually, but right now, I'd say this week he's a decent play. Gary Harris got hurt. Not sure what his status is. Don't love him anyway. Jalen Johnson for Atlanta has been amazing. I would say, I think we're getting into the less of the value picks and more of the play these guys if you have them. So Jalen Johnson's $16, so I wouldn't consider him a value at this point, but really beating his L10s. Malcolm Brogdon, we talked about him on Friday. He had a huge weekend, and he's still $23 if you have him. Obviously, plug him in right now, although only one game this week. So Peyton Watson with Jamal Murray's injury, going to get a little more run. I like his game. He's a little bit over his L10, still only 9. He's at $8. Barnes I'd avoid. I think he had one huge game, kind of an outlier. Saric has been very good for the Warriors, but his L10 is getting too high. Zaire is going to lose time as more of Memphis's key guys get back in the lineup, like Aldama did last night. Reggie Jackson, we talked about on Friday. I didn't pick him up, which I'm kind of pissed at myself about. Now that Murray's out, his value went from about $5.50 to $15 in the last 2 days. So hopefully you grabbed him over the weekend because you're going to make some money off that if you decide to sell. Or if you decide to play him, he's going to get more minutes. I would say he can easily beat that 19-point Sorare average, and his L10 still 10. So this guy's a great value this week. Skipping down, Grant Williams. If you have him, you're playing him. These are all guys. If you have them, you're playing them. Grant Williams is in a different role. He's beating his L10s pretty easily. Cam Thomas starting. Yes, go. Beasley, don't love Beasley, but he's definitely outperforming a 13. Dennis Schroeder, starter, 35 a night, playing really well. Dyson Daniels, again with McCollum being out, going to be another guy who picks up more minutes. He's beating his average. Simmons outplaying his 20 points. He's starting. He missed last game, but I think he's fine. He's going to play today. Michael Porter, again with Murray out, just more usage. Quickly, I hate the way they use him in New York. I think he deserves more than 24 minutes a night. He's a good player. $15. I'd almost consider that just in the games where Brunson misses. If Brunson ever has to sit out or Randall has to sit out, he becomes a big target. He can get you 40 or 50 if he gets more minutes. Scotty Barnes has been incredible, playing huge minutes, scoring huge points. As far as the top-end guys go, he is one of your best plays right now. 39 L10. He's averaging almost 50. He's had some huge games. Almost averaging a triple-double right now. The guy's on fire. Russell, Hero, Bain, Wagner all off to very good starts. If you have Jordan Poole, you're probably playing him. I mean, I'd be playing him even though I don't love him. Maxi's been much better without Harden there. And Jaren Jackson, obviously, without Morant, still producing. What else we got? Luka, yeah, put him in if you got him. I think that's probably it. So, let's see here. Now, if you want to look through some injuries, just talk through all these. Quit watching if you don't want to hear this, but Golden State's pretty healthy. Detroit, Burks could come back today, it looks like. Ivy was ill yesterday. He may or may not play today. If Burks plays, he's probably a decent start. Vassell looks like he has a groin injury, so maybe a little more run for Malachi Brannon. Looks like he's going to get the start in his place. Let's see what they have for minutes for him. Yeah, ranging 15 to 25 minutes for Branham. I don't know exactly what his numbers have been so far this year, but definitely an opportunity for him. Yeah, Indiana, 3 great games this week. Jarris Walker's probably not on your radar anyway. He wasn't playing much. Any of these guys, Toppin's probably the guy that has the most value right now. But you could play anyone on Indiana this week with the 3 games, hoping they have one great game. Kleba's still questionable. Fultz is now questionable. Wendell Carter is out for, I think, 6 to 8 weeks. Fractured a bone in his hand. So Goga starts at center. Goga's this guy that, he'll have good offensive games for sure. He's just not a great defensive 5. So we'll see who ends up playing there. If you want to take a chance on Goga, I don't hate it. Let's see here. Avija and Gafford both look probable. Kispert questionable for Washington. I just don't trust Washington at all. A lot of games their starters are getting 20 to 25 minutes, and then the reserves are getting 15 to 20 because they're either getting blown out so much or I don't know. I don't know what's going on in Washington. They're just not very good. Philly's pretty healthy. Looks like everybody's going to play today, so same old. Tobias has been good. Maxi's been good. Embiid's obviously good. Melton's beating his average. If you have any of those guys, Oubre, you can trust any of those guys probably right now. LA, pretty beat up. Hachimura has some sort of eye injury. Vanderbilt's still out. Gabe Vincent's still out. So there's some extra minutes to go around for LA. Projections look like Max Christie's kind of interesting, I guess. I don't think he's going to play 21 minutes, but I've been wrong before. Cam Reddish, maybe. Yeah, don't love any of that, though. They've got Highsmith projected to start again, so, yeah, again, with a 9 L10, he would be in there despite the bad last game. And if Butler sits, this is just more usage to go around. Love Hero here. He's just been great. Bucks are pretty healthy. Simmons, it says he's questionable, but I think he's going to play. Yeah, I mean, you're looking at Lonnie Walker's probable. Yeah. Well, looks like they're going to bring Cam Thomas off the bench, maybe? Well, I doubt it. I think he probably starts. Westbrook, yeah. Nothing too much of a change here. Barrett's been out, so that doesn't make too much of a difference. I would say Utah looks healthy. Caruso and Sumu help Torrey Craig if they sit, so I would say keep an eye on that. Fox still out, so Davion Mitchell's in play. We've got, Amen Thompson out, so I think Jeff Green is the beneficiary there. Şengün played more minutes last game. But Amen Thompson doesn't control a whole lot. Holiday actually played more with him out last game, and he's cheap, but probably not going to get you much. And then with Boston, Derek White will be back. He just missed one game, personal reasons or something. Brissett, I'm not sure what his injury is. Shouldn't affect too much. Wolves look pretty healthy. Hawks look pretty healthy. No real change. SGA being out. The rookie Cason Wallace still not putting up a lot of points, but he's going to get the start. What do they have? I kind of like Isaiah Joe when SGA is out, as he's more of a wing scorer for a guard. So if they need scoring or if the game gets out of hand, he could come in and fill it up. He's had big games in the past for sure. Dort had a huge game last game without SGA. So things to consider. Jalen Williams, more usage. Giddey, a little more usage. Everything bumps up with your best player out. And then with McCollum out here in New Orleans, you're down a bunch of guards. They're really banged up. Dyson Daniels gets the start. I think Jordan Hawkins gets quite a bit of run. They're predicting Kira Lewis for 24. Like I was talking about before, I really like Sebron better than Lewis. We'll see how they go at it. Hard to say until you see it. Without McCollum out there, it's going to be interesting. And then, Reggie Jackson getting a start with Murray out. He should get a decent run. I would say, around 30 minutes. So he should be a great play this week. Peyton Watson, Christian Braun definitely in play. And I like Strother. So we'll see what he can do. He should get some run as a backup point guard. So, all right. Well, good luck with week 5, and we will see you back here for week 6. Thanks for watching.